Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to the Women's Cave. Yes, we did back-to-back episodes, you guys. I mean, we have to make up for this weekend. We were all doing the summit of the Women's Virtual Success Summit, so we were co-hosts there. So we're making up for all the things we had to cancel to do that. But we wouldn't have given up that opportunity for just about anything in the world.
Maybe a few things.
I said just about anything. So I was like 98% of the time we wouldn't have given up the opportunity. Somebody had offered us like $1 million, we might have been like, ha, we're not doing it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So if you have $1.5 million and you want us to just, stop doing stuff, that's fine. Just
yes, we will take it, we will cash it, and be excited.
Yep. Don't try to stop payment on that check either.
Nope. But anyway, as I'm just talking and talking, I am Jade.
And I'm Winona. We remember to introduce ourselves. This is awesome. Have fun.
Yes, nerd it out, y'all. Nerd it out. But we are the And I Thought Ladies, the founders of the And I Thought Ladies, and also the co-authors with so many other wonderful, great women.
11
of the And I Thought series. And I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy, and I thought I could juggle it all, and I thought I could juggle it all is only available on pre-order and Kindle and Amazon.com. But the other two books, And I Thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy. See, I'm just messing up the plug today. I just said it too much this weekend.
It's because during Virtual Women's Success Summit, you were actually good. I mean, you were always good, but you were actually good.
And I was saying it so fast so the people wouldn't get mad that I was plugging myself. But anyway, And I thought being grown up was easy. All of those are available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And you can always catch us on andwethought.com.
Hey, I just want to say, I did not interrupt you.
I know.
I am respectful.
Yes, she's learned a lot from the summit, you guys, and maybe, just maybe, I'll have a good co-host.
You did. If I had a sock. If only I had a sock.
Whatever.
Anyway,
no.
So I'm going to do the smart segue because you insulted me. So this is the smart segue. So we write books, but Desiree is kind enough to have done this as a full-time living, and she also has something to say about relationships. Not very smart of a segue, but whatever. Desiree, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks for having me on. I'm Desiree, and I write things.
She also owns a media company. Are you joking? You got to plug that.
That too.
Yeah.
That too, yeah.
And I think you were, you had a nice relationship at one time?
Oh, I've had more than one nice relationship. I've met some pretty awesome guys. I think that in general, I just think that as a culture or as a society, our relationship paradigms are a little outdated.
Outdated?
Yeah.
So would you be a bigger preference of like a European relationship, or I know you wouldn't go outdated if we were going Middle Eastern, right?
I mean, that's a really interesting question. I guess let me clarify what I mean, and I'll do that by telling a little story. So it was Labor Day weekend that we just passed, and yesterday was Labor Day. And if anyone watching this is in the greater New York City area, you know that we have a big carnival here in Brooklyn on Labor Day, every Labor Day, up and down Eastern Parkway. And there's always a huge celebration of West Indian Caribbean culture. So my friends and I, it was really impromptu. The parade actually starts pretty much literally in front of my house. So I had some friends who had never been that had wanted to come. So it just ended up being a big gathering. And we were a bunch of people at my house yesterday. I made a brunch. We ate and we drank, and then went to the parade, and we had a great time. A couple of this is my sister circle, right? But a couple of them are dating new guys. They got new man friends. And so because they had tentative plans with these man friends, but didn't want to miss out on the festivities, and they were like, hey, so can I bring so-and-so, and you can meet him, and yada yada. And I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. So I was like, sure. So a couple of my lady friends brought their new guy friends, and it was fun. We all had a great time. After everything had died down, we were eating at my house and just kind of chilling. And one of my friends said, "So what did you think about Mayhem Redacted?" So I said, I thought he was really cool. And then here, because I'm getting to the point now, here's what she said that I found so interesting and I think illustrates the point I'm trying to make. She says, we're in a weird space right now. We're just dating. It's not this and it's not that. And I'm like, that's not a weird space. It is what it is. And I think that we are trained to think of relationships as an all or nothing proposition. I think that we are trained to think that there is a person, one person that quote unquote completes you, that quote unquote fulfills every single need that you have as a human being. And I think that we are trained to be very uncomfortable with quote unquote gray areas. So that if something doesn't look like the version of relationships that we are just taught as a culture is the ideal, then we don't trust it and we run from it. And in that sense, I kind of feel like we miss out on the opportunity to just have genuine experiences with people. You know what I mean? Just have an experience that lasts for however long it lasts and enjoy it and take from it what you will and move on. And so I said to my friend, just dating someone is not weird. That's not a weird space. You know what I mean? That's what it is. You're getting to know him. And if it doesn't turn into whatever, that doesn't mean the entire thing was a waste of time. You know, it means that you had a great experience with someone and that was it. Another really quick example, me and a few of these same ladies, we have a trip planned to Cuba next month. And I keep making jokes that, if I find me a Cuban boyfriend down there, I might not come back, right? So I was like, if Desiree doesn't come back from Cuba, you know that she's got herself a Latin lover and she might not be coming home for a while. So one of my friends was like, "Oh, but you guys are only going to be down there for a few days." And I'm like, listen, I firmly believe you can meet and fall in love with someone and have a great experience that only lasts a few days. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of that few days, it's like, great, this was wonderful. I experienced you, and that you can both move on. It doesn't mean that we have to get married. It doesn't mean we need to have children. It doesn't mean, it could mean that, but if it doesn't end up that way, that doesn't mean that it was a sham.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you think that these labels are what rushes us kind of sort of into like the marriage thing?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to take that a step further and say that as well, I'm not going to say that there isn't societal pressure on men, but I will say that I don't think they get the societal pressure that we get as women. And I'm going to go even further, and I want to say, like, really almost especially as Black women, because every other minute there's like an article saying about how why are Black women single, which is so ridiculous. But like, because I know so many that aren't, and I don't think it's a phenomenon that's necessarily specific to a group of people. But I think that as women, especially once you are hitting the late 20s, the early to mid 30s, people start to look at you funny if you're single, not married yet. And that's a problem. I think that we need to unlearn that and kind of like reprogram how we think about that. And I think that because of that fear, and listen, that societal pressure is real. You know what I mean? It is real. You would have to really be not only just a strong person individually, but also surrounded with other really strong people who are reinforcing your own sense of self-worth as an individual for you to not buckle under that pressure. So just to be clear, I'm not faulting a woman for buckling under that pressure because it's serious. It's real. It's serious. And so I think that because of that, people do rush into situations and kind of just want to achieve this thing that society tells you that you're supposed to want without even first really even thinking or questioning, is this what I want? And that's another thing we talked about at brunch too. There's a lot of times at weddings and all that is more for your family than anything else, you know?
That's so true.
You know, so
my very own wedding that I wanted to have it at 12 o'clock on a Friday, and my mother said absolutely not. And I said 12 o'clock on a Friday because if you want to come, if you're my good friend, it doesn't matter what time it is, you will show up.
Right.
Because you're excited for me, and I will show up for you. You know,
Right.
if you had it at 10 o'clock on a Thursday morning, well, like Jade would be in the place.
Yeah.
They would be right there. Jade would be like, hey, I'm here for you.
Right.
No, but my mother said no. And so I buckled and I had it at 2 o'clock on Friday. And
Okay.
people showed up. So there it is.
Yeah, I had a similar experience with my wedding. I wanted something, just a really simple, no frills affair. I wanted to have a barbecue in my mother's backyard with just like a handful of people. And once my mother and grandmother got involved, whew.
I'm not gonna say y'all. I don't know what's wrong with y'all because I wanted a full-on Cinderella
And
affair.
you had it.
And I had it. But it only took. How long did it take me to get it? You came shopping with me. How long did it take?
Oh my goodness. And then it took her a few minutes, but then all the dresses that had to be made, all the other drama. I couldn't with the drama.
It was like 20. It took me about 20 minutes. I went in. I knew what fabrics I wanted. I knew the thread. I knew the ribbon. I knew the patterns. I was out that store immediately. I knew when they were on sale. So I made my wedding date close to the sale time. And I just went in and grabbed them all up. And because I had studied for 6 months every year. You know, every 6 months I changed my theme and I studied up on it. And then when I actually got married, I was ready. I knew the flowers. I knew everything. I knew the cake. I knew the baker. Everything.
Wow.
2 days, I was done. I had a DJ at the place, everything.
Well, I have seen people just turn into hot messes over the planning of their weddings, and listen, and that's cool. You know, not knocking that, but I think that something that just doesn't get stressed is that, okay, so when the wedding's over, there's actually a marriage that you have to, you know, to cater to. And if people put as much time and energy into their actual marriages as they did to planning their weddings, things might, you know,
work out better
in the climate. Well, I mean, I think that's really just a small matter of it. I also just think too that society has just changed a lot, and I think a lot of what made marriage necessary for the success and for just the inner workings of the fabric or the structure of a community, of a society, is just different. It's just really different, which is not to say that marriage doesn't have value. I just think that it is really more so up to now to individual people to decide what that looks like for them and what role that's going to be for them. You know what I mean? I kind of think we should stop looking to just larger narratives of society as a whole to kind of tell us what our relationships are supposed to look like, basically.
So Cinderella should have had a little bit more to her story. I mean, it could have just been the gown. I mean, we should have seen her, you know, one day in the palace cooking, I don't know, goulash.
Or whatever she did.
While he's complaining about said goulash.
I mean, yeah, it's that fairy tale. It's real. I mean, you are taught that's what you aspire to. You know what I'm saying? As a woman, to get the prince, to get that man. There's a whole lot that comes after that. That like they don't write fairy tales instructing you on how to do. There's a whole lot that comes after that. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. It really, yeah.
Now, Jay, I have a question totally off topic.
Okay, go ahead.
But here it is. As a woman in business, and as you said, trying to experience relationships, or I don't know if you're still married, I'm not sure. But
not quite. Not quite.
But still, going through whatever you're going through, how do you think that correlates with your business?
Ooh, okay. So, here's what I've observed. And this was even before I got married, even before I left the W-2 world to do my own thing. Just kind of just being a woman in the working world. And, you know, when I was in W-2 world at the height of my career, I was managing a team of 60 men, you know. That was interesting.
To say the least.
To say the least. That's a whole nother show right there. But one of the things that I noticed, because I was working in a a field that I guess you could say was male dominated. I was, I think, one of maybe, there was only one other woman I knew in like our region, our network of regions, that had the position that I had, and everyone else in the position that I had in subsequent locations were men. And I had the top performing team, and just that, and just, oh my gosh, when you talk about haters. And the thing about it is that I find that like, still, unfortunately, in 2016, more or less, you're going to run into that when you're a woman who's taking on a high-powered career, who is venturing into areas that maybe a lot of women haven't ventured into before, or where there are a lot of male colleagues. I feel like you kind of have this initial thing where people are going to doubt your competence and doubt whether or not you can do your job just off of the strength that you have 2 X chromosomes, right? So there was that. And that, you know, there are obviously ways. It's going to be different for each person's individual company politics. There are ways, I want to say, to overcome that and whatever, and that's good. But there's that initial chin checking that you're going to experience. And I think, and it's just like dealing with a schoolyard bully. You know what I'm saying? You stand up to the bully backs down. When you're in that situation and you're a woman and you get kin checked, you have to nip it in the bud right away. If you want to have some semblance of like a career, if you kind of want that respect, you can't allow those kind of microaggressions to slide in the beginning. You need to let them know right off the bat who they're dealing with. So now when I left my W-2 job, I was already married when I left, and then I was doing my own thing. The first thing that I noticed was that in addition to my career and the things that I was doing on the side, like I felt like I had built up just a really good resume of like dope things that I had done just as a creative, as a business person. And I don't want to say that that wasn't celebrated, but it was nothing compared to when I told people I was getting married. Everyone was over the moon, and there was this assumption that now my life was complete. Now I was happy. And the amount of times that I had to tell people, no, actually, I was actually really happy with my life already. And this is just an added benefit. Like that doesn't translate to a lot of people. A lot of people feel like no matter what you've done, I mean, and it's not, I don't think it's totally conscious. I think a lot of it is very under the surface. No matter what you've done and no matter what you've accomplished, it's still not all good. You still haven't done everything until you have, you know, found someone to propagate the species with. So that was an observation that I made. Secondly, when you have that and you're trying to do the career, and again, listen, I understand I'm only one woman in 3.5 billion roughly, but just from what my discussions have been with other women, there's been a lot of overlap and parallels and experiences, is that if you're a woman and you want to go out and you want to make a mark in the public domain, that's great, okay? Traditionally, women are the inheritors of the private domain, and men, you know, the public domain is for men. But our society has changed, and it's more accepted, obviously, now for women to kind of go out and make their mark in the world on a public level, right? And to contribute to society on a larger level. Mm-hmm. However, that does not excuse you from your private domain duties. So everything you go out there and do, curing cancer, having a great career, reading the kids, that's all great. But if you still don't have a happy home, dinner cooked, however you're going to make that happen, then you're still somehow lacking. You know what I'm saying? And I find that men don't have that same pressure largely. It's accepted for them to go out and work crazy hours and not spend time with their families because that's what we expect men to do. I know many working mothers have that same struggle when you work and you want to provide and you want to fulfill yourself, but then you maybe don't get to tuck your kids in at night, the guilt that and I don't have children, but I've heard this, you know, the guilt that you're feeling, the whatever. And I just think that the steps that our society can take to make that world of work and caregiving and family much more even and much more a situation where the woman is not necessarily getting the fuzzy end of the lollipop, I think would just be greater as for society in general.
I love how you said the fuzzy end.
Right. Listen, we get the fuzzy end of the lollipop on a lot of stuff still. I think everyone benefits from that because that's also a harmful situation for men as well. And I think that's something that doesn't get talked about.
You know what's really funny is that we spent an entire weekend actually doing that. That's what we did. We talked for the entire weekend about women who want to run their own businesses, who are going to spend those 80-hour weeks, and how not to feel like extremely guilty because you already have given to so many people and you juggle so many responsibilities that adding one more to the bunch isn't gonna like kill you, you know? But anyway, I'm sorry. I do digress.
We digress. I mean, we could absolutely talk about this all day because as women, we have that now added role of making money. Like before, it was just the house is our domain and that's where we stay, right? And nowadays, if you're like, you look at your husband or your significant other and say, I'm just going to stay home, take care of the house, they look at you like, what did you just say? So you absolutely have to go out. You absolutely have to make money and do all these other things, but they do. And I think as a culture, as a society, we do expect us to take care of, let's say their mother is sick or your mother is sick or the children are sick or they're sick or the groceries need to be bought or the house needs to be cleaned. They absolutely are looking at you saying, well, why isn't this taken care of? Excuse me, did I not just work 60 hours?
I think it's very important to understand after the I do's that, yes, the wedding was fun. It was. And both of you probably were under a lot of stress. Well, mostly the lady was under a lot of stress. Let's just admit it. And that's pretty much her life for the rest of her marriage life. But, you know, at some point, he did show up. I mean, he did pick up his tux. He did get his groomsmen. He did make them walk down the aisle and stand there to witness the entire thing. He may not have wanted to, not with like 500 people in the church, and he may not have wanted the flowers or anything else, but he did. And at some point, he put in his opinion. Guess what? Once the I do's are said, you still do the same thing, but it becomes like dishes, child care, these sorts of things. Occasionally dinner.
But it is up to the couple and the individuals to work it out. And a lot of people really do. They share schedules. Hey, technology makes it easier. Like, hey, I have a meeting at 7 p.m. tonight. So I put that on the Google Calendar. So I shared it with you. So obviously, you know I'm not making the kids. It's not going to happen because I'm in a meeting till 9. So, you know, like, obviously, you know that's not going to happen because it shows up on your Google Calendar. I'm like, oh. Excuse me, boss, I have to leave out at 5:30. I have to pick up my children from the daycare. But I think that has made it a little easier, and I don't know. I'm just one person shouting an opinion, but I think that people need to understand that I do the said, and then comes life.
And then comes life.
About this entire thing, Desiree and I, divorced, right? Or getting divorced?
In the process for me, yes.
Right. Jade, half a decade and still running.
Honey, you need a round of applause for that.
And happy. And so blissfully
good,
happy.
I don't think it's blissfully, stupidly happy. I just think that as any relationship, there's a give and take. There are going to be things that you absolutely are like, what? But then there are things that, oh my goodness, you didn't do that for me. I wouldn't do it at all for myself.
Right.
I wouldn't do it. And it's kind of like your job. Like some days you go in that thing and you're like, yes, this is everything. And sometimes you go and you'll be like, ooh, if I could just make it through one more day. But that's life.
That's called Wednesday.
Or Monday. It depends. What day it is. But I think that goes with, you have to come into the attitude that we're going to make it. And if you don't have that attitude, just like in anything else, like as entrepreneurs, as authors, if we didn't have that, I'm going to make a success. My books are going to sell. People are going to put good reviews on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever on my book. We would never even start the fight.
I agree.
I would say one last thing, and I promise I'm gonna hand it over to the guest because he's supposed to be the guest. We've been quiet for 96 hours on this Virtual Woman Success Summit.
Oh, it feels so good to talk.
It feels so good to talk.
I hear you.
You're like, yes. And how do you feel that goes with this? And I mean, granted, because, you know, when you have someone who's been like interviewed by Oprah 17 times, all you do is go, right.
Yeah, seriously.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that I think the most important thing that I've ever learned from marriage was that marriage is work.
Right.
If you like the wedding, wonderful. If you want to stay married, you got to work at that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like secular work where I got to go in and fill out paperwork. Well, yeah, there's some of that. There's very little of that. And yes, I'm sure other stuff is a wonderful benefit. But
Right.
the most important thing is it's emotional work.
Yes.
Compromise. And in this generation, that's a lot to ask. And it's not compromise every once in a while. It's compromise on a daily basis.
Well, here's the thing. And that's actually a perfect segue into what I was going to say, which was a piggyback off of Jade's comment, is that I don't think it's too much to ask. I just think we're just not taught to look at it that way. And when you talked about coming into marriage with a specific attitude, I was having a really good conversation with my cousin who was an attorney. And she was just, she was talking to me and just kind of just giving me advice and counseling me, just on everything that was going on. And she happened to had attended a church service that morning. And she told me something that her pastor said, which was if you come into a relationship thinking that this person is your gift, that you're going to end up using that person. But if you come to a relationship with the attitude of how can I serve, then it's better. But both people have to come into the relationship with the attitude of how can I serve. And I think that with this generation, as you said, well, Nola, we are taught to think about ourselves. So we're taught to think about potential partners in the light of what that person can do for me, how that person can elevate me, what that person is bringing to the table. And I just wonder how many people really sit and consider, what am I bringing to the table? What can I bring to the relationship? What can I offer? How can I serve? And I think if both people are thinking that way, then you got each other. But even when you have that foundation, you have to understand that we are all human and flawed, and that there's also the expectation that one person is going to be is fantastic. You know what I mean? So you can have a great partner. You're still going to need your family. You're still going to need your friends. You are still going to need to have interests as an individual. That's just a lot of pressure to put on a person, a lot of unfair pressure to put on a person. So you want to think about what you're contributing. And then you also you need to have balance. You need to have balance. And I don't think that, people are just really being taught to look at it that way. Like I said, society's changed. So you don't now necessarily need two people in the home to make a success or whatever it was that we needed generations and generations prior. So yeah, there's that.
One more thing is that when you were saying about the sharing and things, we do still have that relationship. There's still a relationship like that has not changed in this generation. No matter how many generations it goes, it has not changed. And that would be either friendship or sisterhood. If you're really good friends with your sister, then yay, you have an example. Or if you've got a really good best friend over years and years, and you talk, and something that's funny because they're gonna piss you off, not make you mad, not tick you off. They're gonna piss you off, more than once in that life. And you're going to have fall down, drag out arguments where you really thought about hitting that person with something real hard.
Right.
But you didn't because you love them. As well known as about me. She's talking but that's okay. But anyway, I wasn't going to put any names to that. Anyway,
anyone that watches our show knows that we are really good friends. Like, we're best friends. I've been best friends for many of years.
But anyway, I was going to say that, that is a friendship, and that is the sort of relationship that you bring into a marriage. That person has now become your friend. So I don't mean to be crazy or strange, but have you looked at your friendships that way? If you have a guy friend who's been forever and forever and forever, hey, he knows you, you know him, and you haven't beat him down yet. Not so bad of an idea.
No, I hear you. It's just, that's definitely a different way of looking at it. I think that you make a good point with the friendship thing, because when I was talking about balance and just needing things and getting different things from different sources, in pursuit, one, I think, unfortunate side effect of the societal pressure for women to find and maintain relationships is that I think that you see a lot of women who pursue relationships and neglect their relationships with their girlfriends, right? And listen, I have had lovers come and go. You know what I mean? I have yet to experience a situation where I experience the loss of a girlfriend and that didn't affect me even more deeply on some level. You know what I mean? It is very hard to explain. Those relationships for me have been the most profound, much on a completely different level than any romantic relationship I've ever had. You know, when I say that, like, my sisters, whether they're biological or chosen, have literally saved my life, you know, like,
You mean that? They have
I
literally.
mean that they have literally saved my life. And yes, if there is, if you can somehow replicate that in a more romantic setting, then yes, that would be ideal. But again, I think what we talked about, the intentions going into a relationship, I think you just code those two completely different ways. You know, when I'm with my sisters, we're all coming into the circle, like, how are we enriching each other? How are we lifting each other? How are we supporting and advancing the circle? And I think that you come into a relationship, a romantic relationship, with a slightly different set of priorities a lot of time. We are conditioned to, yeah.
If you looked at it the exact same way,
Mm-hmm.
then, I mean, how much different would marriage be?
Yeah, it would be, yeah. I know, I agree. I agree. If we started to think about marriage and our romantic partners the way we thought about other families and other, you know, in a way that we're just not objectifying people, you know. That's really all that is at the end of the day, is that we objectify our partners in a way that I don't think we're even conscious of most of the time.
Probably not.
We have gone over time again, quite by like 16 minutes.
We have to wrap it up. But Desiree, it was a pleasure having you. And please tell people where they can reach you and find your books.
Can I say, when she wraps up, you know why she's going to Cuba, y'all? She's researching her next book, and it's going to be Cuban Days.
Yes, it is. And in the book I'm wrapping up now, Black Swan, which is a sequel to White Rabbit, my main character, Tess, she navigates those very dangerous shark-infested marital waters herself. So very interesting to kind of read about her journey. But yes, you can find me, DesireeMoody.com, and links to everything else is on there. On my social media and everything.
Well, it was a pleasure, Desiree, to talk about something other than books with you.
Yeah,
to bring out these other expertise. And we are going to wrap up by saying, I think I get to wrap up this time, you guys. I'm so excited. So we are the end. I thought ladies almost messed that up. Thank you. I am Winona, and this is Jade, and we are the authors and founders of the And I Thought Speaking Group, but we're also the authors of the And I Thought series. And I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy, and I thought I could juggle it all. This one is our business book. It's about how women in marriages, single, how they actually juggled their life to start a business and keep a business going at every stage of business. And
that is only available for pre-order on Kindle.
Exactly. And then our fourth one will be And I Thought He Was the One, which is my favorite book. And it's about relationships. These ladies talk about relationships, be it interracial, be it like, you know, that fling where you're like, I'm going down to Georgia and I'm going to go follow the man I love. Or I got stood up at the altar. All of that is in there. You don't want to know anything about marriage, love, relationships, dating, heartbreak. That's all in there. And that'll be available in October. You can always email us where?
At ladies@andwethought.com. And as always, you can find us, your ladies, and if you want a personalized copy of our book, on andwethought.com also.
Or if you want to be an And I Thought lady, there are And I Thought t-shirts. Yay! Anyway, so I just want you to remember that there is wisdom all around you.
If you're open to finding it and accepting it. And we'd like to thank again Ms. Desiree Moody for joining us.
So this is Winona.
And this is Jade.
Peace and love. Bye-bye, you guys.